Hello, this is Danny Green. Thanks so much for joining me for the third session of One and Done Weight Release. We are going to be talking about behaviors, which is the hardest part. I hope that I'll be sharing some really helpful tools today that you can use if you're evaluating my program right now by watching these videos or if you're a current client. And of course, um, as I've said before, 99 to 95% of our behaviors and beliefs are registered and stored in our subconscious mind, both for good and the things that are life-draining. And so that's why hypnosis is such an important tool, because when we slow down and think deeply and are in a hypnotic state, that's when we can begin to change the subconscious mind. So let's go ahead and begin. In a prior video, I went through the 3 mantras that I've written for this program, which are just mindset tools that clients can use during the day. But also, I've really wanted to unlock that compulsive feeling that we all get when we have a behavior that we're trying to change. That compulsive feeling feels like something is just locked into our brain and we are compelled to act in a certain way, whether it's eating, drinking, or any other behavior. So let's begin by thinking about the brain itself. So back in this part of your head, you have what's called your reptilian, I like to call it the survival brain. That part of your brain is just trying to keep you safe. And it has very primitive, simplistic thoughts. So let's say that that is where some of our thoughts come from. Well, those thoughts, those survival thoughts, impact our emotional brain, the midbrain here on both sides. And I know that, people have said that you can't really trust your emotions, but obviously all of our emotions are just signals to how we're feeling, how we're doing. We just need to become aware of our emotions. But if we're directed by our survival brain to our emotional brain, then it's a little bit harder to use the front part of our brain, our neocortex, to make good decisions. So if one of the things that I found out in studying hypnosis is if you count from like 1 to 10, that's very motivating and forward. It pushes you forward. If you're going to jump off into water, you would want to count to a certain number. And when you count forward, that kind of motivates you into behavior. So if you think about this being the primal part of your brain, and then this is 1, 2, and 3, you can see that you're actually being directed by this primal part of your brain, and it's kind of pushing you forward to do something. And I found out that there is there's a chemical that literally called glutamate that literally locks our thoughts into behaviors. So what are we going to do about that? In my curriculum, I have an unlock symbol, and that's really what I'm hoping for my clients, that we can really begin to unlock that compulsive behavior signal. So in hypnosis, if you count from 10 down to 1, it's very relaxing. Anytime you count down, your body naturally goes into a relaxed state. So rather than answering the thought that comes from your survival brain, 1, 2, 3, that propels you into behavior, I like to suggest to my clients and myself that we actually use this frontal part of our brain to reason through what we want to do next, and then see how that feels emotionally. And then that begins to quiet or slow down our survival brain. And that really begins to unlock that compulsive feeling that we have. So another step in this behavior session is for, we're going to be looking at the 6 p.m. to midnight zone of when and where we eat. And if I know in my life, after I've finished a busy day and I'm kind of slowing myself down, sometimes I can react by eating, you know, because of stress or whatever, eating more than I want to. So usually this is the time of day that we snack a lot, from 6 p.m. to midnight. And we do really want to come up with the structure of eating on time with One and Done weight release to handle this. Again, we celebrate what's doable, and whatever is challenging within this time and those location zone is what we address in hypnosis. Now, another way to manage your day is to think about your activity level. So in the first 8 hours of the day should be our most active time, the time in which we get the most work done. We can work out during the beginning of the day. We can get our work done throughout the morning and afternoon. So the first 8 hours, I like to have my clients just list all the things that they want to do and accomplish that are really active. The next 5 hours after that, we should do moderate activities like laundry, cooking, cleaning, walking, something that doesn't take as much energy, but still we're getting work done. And then the last 3 hours of the day is really when we should begin to unwind. So it helps to moderate your behavior by just figuring out what you want to do during those 3 sections of your day and evening. So in the last 3 hours of the day, you might want to, pay bills or write a grocery list or sort emails or fold laundry or call a friend. So those are some ways that you can manage your own activity level. So the other thing about One and Done weight release is we do try to eat on a schedule. By this time in our behavior session, we've been working toward that. Eating on a schedule and eating during certain windows of time really helps your body regulate hormones, insulin, and all sorts of digestive processes, and giving your body a break. So did you know that if you're any 10 pounds that you're overweight, you could actually live for like 2 weeks without eating? So our survival brain thinks we're going to starve when we get just any hunger feeling at all. And that isn't true. You're going to be fine. So regulating your eating to at least weight with no snacking, for 3-hour increments, and increasing that however you can, is one of the ways that we manage our behaviors. So in this session, we'll be addressing specific behaviors and hypnosis, remembering that we can, when we have these inner thoughts or these things that come to us, we can use our body to regulate our thoughts. I read a book once about addiction, and in the end of the book, this person who has been writing about addiction said that we can have this certain type of thought to help us overcome addiction. And I really felt like he was a little bit missing the point there, because if we have an addiction that is based on, brain chemicals and thoughts, then we need to use our whole body to change our behavior. So as I went through the One and Done Stop mantra video in this series, and you can look that up, when you have a thought that comes to mind, you can breathe. Just start breathing. You can hum if you're by yourself. You can just begin to tap. Just tap your hands or just tap your fingers, anything to pull your thoughts away from what you're thinking and bringing them into your body. You can also just wiggle if you're alone, and you can't do that if you're working in an office, I suppose, but just jumping up and down a little bit and wiggling any part of your body. You can do that for like 15 seconds is all it takes for those to get to a different state of mind. and to change your, emotions and reactions. So those are just some of the tools briefly that I have for the behavior session of one and done weight release. I hope that's helpful to you. And please, if you have any questions, please book a call by going to my website, www.dani.today, DaniGreen.today. Thank you so much for joining me for this behaviors session of one and done weight release.